Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is September the 27th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Today was definitely wet. Almost wild, maybe. I wouldn't say wild. I will say, I saw a wild thing or two today, but it was a good day. It was solid. More or less, we just did some work. We got in, we clocked in. I will say it was towards the end of the day. Like, it had been raining throughout the whole day, and it seemed like the rain was like picking up as the day was going on. We'll get into it. Helene, big category. I think it hit like category 4 storm, or it was essentially a hurricane. It hit that status, and then it wound up like hitting Florida and then moving more inland. But we'll get into that. But essentially, weather's been shitty all over. So, I'm going through my day, I'm working, and then next thing you know, power cuts out at work. Now, usually the power doesn't cut out for very long at my job because we have auxiliary power. So we have a backup generator. So it came back on. But definitely, like, as the day continued from there, like the last hour or so, like literally some aisles were just dark. It was like full backups. Then there was like no power in the restroom. So people were being really weird in there. It's so weird, right? And this is like kind of just a weird one, this random thing I wanted to touch on now that I'm like actually thinking about it out loud. And I don't know why I'm taking it back. Maybe because it's just storm related and like it's got me, thinking about Katrina or whatever. But like the idea of like people changing when the lights are out, there's something very sinister and real about that I find very unsettling. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get into any details or whatever, but like just picture locker room dark humor, but once again with the lights off in the bathroom. That's what I'm talking about here. I just witnessed some shit and I was just like, y'all get the fuck out of my way. Get out of here. Also, another random aside, because it's another thing I got to do today, and I know I'm the asshole here. I don't even have to ask, but this is something that it brings me joy as a human being to do this. It's a big dog thing that you get to do every once in a blue moon. But if you ever seen Scrubs, right? I know I'm so in the weeds and we haven't even started. But have you ever seen Scrubs? There's Dr. Cox, right? And like whenever like he's talking to JD and or like someone he doesn't like, he says some like hard ass shit to them and then like curtly brushes aside, like just brushes them aside, hits them with the shoulder bump. I always respected the shit out of that, and like that became like there's two things I want to do before I die. I want to leg sweep an opponent. I don't care when and where. I just want to make that happen. That's a life goal for me. And then number 2 is I want to shoulder check people. I want to do that whenever I can if they fuck with me or they're in my way. And they just know they shouldn't be, okay? Look, I'm not the juggernaut, but get out of my way, bro. So, needless to say, I got to do that weirdly in the bathroom because people were just trying to like just be in front of the stall. It's like, bro, I'm in here. Just wait. But needless to say, the day was fine. The last hour, I was like really ready to get out of there. It's Friday, happy Friday. Sorry, I didn't say that. So I was just ready to go. And plus, like, I had seen the weather. Like, I had tried to like peek out the back, like, cause I had my warehouse, like, exit where I can kind of leave and like hang out outside the warehouse. It's nice. It's cool. But I peeped out and I was like, oh damn, it's really bad out there. So I was like, okay, how's the drive going to be? Luckily, the drive wasn't too bad. And I went from work to the gym, and I just spent a good amount of time in there. I kind of had missed out because it was like super busy. I hate when it's busy. Like the other day where I had to wait for machines to get open, and like I'm literally waiting on the leg press. And I was telling my friend this today because he sees me at the gym sometimes. I'm like, dog, I do think I'm becoming a gym bro. Like, I think the transformation is definitely happening because like I get upset if I can't get my legs in, if I can't do my delts, bro. Like, it's just fucking lame. Like, why are they there? Why are they in the way? And that's when they, like, my friend broke down some shit to me. He's like, yeah, you should really, like, try to, like, do certain days and, like, do these certain things and then alternate. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I've heard that before. And he's like, well, it's good to do that here because sometimes you're working opposite of someone else. And I'm like, this is very utopian thinking. I'm thinking this to myself because I'm like, I know good and damn well anyone and everyone's there. And I even mentioned this. It's like, the thing that kills me is it's a couple. It's always like couples. It's always like, oh, we're just going to hang out and like, I'm going to do the leg press and then you're going to do the leg press. And then we're just going to like, just sit here and goo goo gaga. I'm like, fucking get out of my way. So, you know, that's just how I'm in. So I was immediately able, since there wasn't that many people because of all the rain, got in, got my full workout that I really wanted to get into today. So I was very happy about that. Let's see here. There's probably more bloggy stuff I could get into, but let's segue into the food corner. Why not? I don't want to keep you longer. Let's see. I had some soup. I shifted into soup mode. Well, let me say this. I say it's soup because I'm eating it out of Progressive. You know what I mean? Progresso, whatever. I think it's Progresso. Yeah, it's Progresso, not Progressive. That's auto insurance. But it was jambalaya. So it was ham and sausage. And some rice, you know, and some other stuff, you know, little fillers, fixins in there, whatever. But is jambalaya, is that a soup? Or is that like a stew situation? Is that a different thing? Like, do we qualify jambalaya? And I'm going to add also gumbo. Is that, you know, I'm not Googling it. I'm just asking the audience here. You guys let me know. Let's see here. But yeah, that's what I ate. I had a couple pieces of bread with it and a salad. I will say this salad was a bit of a variation because normally I'm putting on Italian dressing, but this time I actually brought out what I don't know if it's my favorite anymore. I think Italian kind of has become the number one. I eat it so often now that like it's hard for me to say it's number two, but I do love a good blue cheese, and it was nice just to get blue cheese with it, you know what I mean, and little spicy chicken bits in there too. It was a nice little salad I had. It was good with the crouton. So yeah, it was good. So we ate good. You know, today we made it through the rain. Yes. Once again, speaking about just the storm here, there was a few random things I wanted to mention. When I came home, there was a whole tree that fell out. And then there was like power lines that had fell over. So I was like, oh, that's spooky. That's scary. Luckily, the lights are still on. The internet's still running. So obviously I'm able to podcast to you now. Love that. Love that from us. Yay. Also, though, there was like a crazy story of like a bus getting trapped. So that was scary in like Westchester area. So, I mean, the storms, like I said, were pretty bad. But luckily, overall, things are seemingly petering down. I don't know what the forecast looks for the weekend. I know it's supposed to at least rain for tomorrow, at least around here. But y'all know I'm not a weatherman. That's not what we're here for. So let's go ahead and do our startup, and then we'll get into some news. I'm actually going to get back into Helene. But, you know, I wanted to kind of talk about the personal part of the storm in Ohio. I mean, obviously, you know, we're not affected directly, but you feel me. Y'all with me. Y'all walking with me. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this startup, and we'll get into some news. All right. First story comes from Axios. Israel conducts massive strike in Beirut, targeting Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Now, I had an itching, like, burning to talk about this shit anyway. But of course, like, Israel has just been ramping and ramping and ramping. They never stop. They always just go harder and harder. So, you know, today was one of those days that, you know, took the cake even more so. So I figured, you know, we'll just go ahead and get into it. Israel conducted an airstrike on Friday targeting Hezbollah's central headquarters in Beirut in an attempt to kill the group's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, Israeli officials said. Excuse me. Now, the big thing I want to get to here, because we don't know if they hit, if they even got their target, My guess is they fucking didn't. It is probably very akin to the Sinwar situation in Gaza, where they go through all this fucking hassle to try to get the top dog of the organization, the terrorist organization that they want to fucking thwart. But essentially, they know they're just doing that for points. It doesn't actually stop the actual organization, and they know that. But they're like, hey, at least along the way, we get to glass whoever the fuck's in our way. And I mean, they're not gonna say that, but that's sure as fuck what the actions look like. But the number I really wanted to get to, which is just crazy, because this is pretty much in the span of not even a full fucking week. More than 700 people have been killed in Lebanon over the past 11 days. Now, I mean, they're doing the grand total with, I wonder if they're doing the pagers and the walkie-talkies or not. I'm not sure there. Over the past 11 days of intense fighting between Israel and Hezbollah. So I misspoke, but under 2 weeks. That's still crazy. That's insane. And it's not like it's stopping. This is just, we are taking a snapshot here right now with it. So that's very unfortunate. It is the same rhetoric repeated. Like I said, you're having this, we use precision strikes. We're not trying to hit the civilians, but I mean, they're civilians in the way. They're using human shield. It is the same rhetoric repeated over and over again with these same results. It's not changing anything for them. It's not actually securing this defense. It's just blowing up who you're saying is your enemies. You're just like blowing them up. And it doesn't matter whether they are enemy combatants or they are actually civilians who are just trying to live their life, who are just trying to now flee from their homes and be displaced and have to worry about what's going to come next. It's just crazy how willing they are to do this shit. There's also, it's not as much mentioned in this article, but there's still talks or more talks of doing a ground invasion to the point where it is starting to feel very likely. This is not something that's new. Granted, we haven't covered it because historically it's not in my purview to really cover it. But they've definitely gone through this before. With not good results. Like it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, yes, you can do it, but it won't achieve the result that you want. You're just going to be killing people, displacing people, sitting in land that's not yours, trying to make a country compliant to you, and then eventually going to have to leave because you are burning resources. You are burning soldiers. To do what? You know what I mean? Like, you're not accomplishing your goal here. Essentially, though, the goal that, like I've said before, they are trying to get the people back into the northern part of Israel. And essentially they're saying, well, we might have to invade southern Lebanon to do that, which is just, it's a fucking mistake. And they know it, but they might do it. And it looks like it's pretty palpable. It's also worth mentioning, I didn't talk about this throughout the week because I get more and more upset talking about the UN, which is like a whole fucking nothing burgle circle jerk for these big nation leaders, for them to do nothing. To just talk and make themselves feel good. And it doesn't matter even what side of the conversation they're on. Whether I agree with them or disagree, they are wasting their time blustering, usually. And it's very frustrating to even do the coverage on it. So I really haven't. But Netanyahu apparently, while they were doing this crazy fucking bombing, is coming here talking about, I'm trying to do this peace shit. We're trying to make it happen. It's just, it's real hard. It's so difficult. Obviously, I'm fucking paraphrasing this motherfucker, but it's just bullshit, dude. It's very frustrating that he is acting like he's playing ball and then like immediately just like flips off the US and it's like, nah, man, actually can't do it. Don't want to do it. Like, we're not doing a ceasefire because that's something that's been floated, which is like, it's very frustrating because everything is so face up. It doesn't matter what faction of this conversation we are talking about. At the end of the day, what Hezbollah wants in this situation, they have stated it. If you make a ceasefire with Gaza, with Hamas here, we are going to stop. This ramped up the day after October 7th because we knew what you were going to do. Okay? Here's where we're at. So the secondary fucking ceasefire we're talking about with Lebanon and Israel is, you hear, I think it's like the US and maybe France or whatever, they're like, yeah, you guys should really do like a 21-day ceasefire. That would be so chill. That'd be so based. And like Netanyahu, Bibi, he's like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. Maybe. Thinking emoji. And then like goes back to his cabinet. And like you can, and it's so fucking annoying because for Bibi, for the press spin, he gets to go and say, my right-wing coalition that like's propping me up, they're making me do this shit. I don't care. No one fucking cares whatever your bullshit ass reason that you're making up, bro. You are choosing to do this shit. You've always been this guy. So I don't care. No one cares. You're a monster for this shit. So essentially, he's like, yeah, no, fuck the ceasefire. Sorry, not gonna do it. And it's like, yeah, dude, we know you're not gonna do it, and you know that Hezbollah is not gonna back down and stop. Like they are showing solidarity here. It gets so frustrated talking with people because I every once in a while, I'll try to have a conversation with people who are like pro Israel, or they're just so anti just another country that they're like, I mean, look, these terrorists are just bad, okay? But it's like at the end of the day, these motherfuckers are not really caring. They just are like, oh, terrorism bad, so like let our allies do whatever they want. And it's just crazy that there are people out there that are willing to write this blank check to Israel. But I mean, that's literally what our powers that be are doing. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're talking about, whether we're talking about Donald Trump or we're talking about Kamala Harris. We're talking about Joe fucking Biden. Biden hasn't done shit, and he's acting like he's doing something by talking. Oh, come on, Jack, cut the malarkey. He's not doing anything, though. He's just yapping. Ugh. It's very frustrating. Like I said, I kind of waited for the rest of the week to kind of talk about this. So sorry, I'm kind of unloading and going long here. But, fuck it. Now let's get to Hurricane Helene. So yeah, this is another thing I was kind of waiting to see what was exactly going to happen when it made landfall. Sadly, a lot. At least 40 dead as storm batters southeast after Florida landfall. More than 4.8 million without power. At least 40 people were reported dead across the southeastern United States after Helene made landfall Thursday night as a Category 4 hurricane. I'm sorry, I called it a tropical storm. It hit as a full-ass hurricane, which is heavy. More than 4.8 million customers were without power in Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas on Friday. And like I said, this shit has just been whipping up the whole fucking nation. A lot of fucking bad weather in general, all around. Very yucky. Now a weakened post-tropical cyclone, Helene came ashore in Florida's Big Bend region, bringing winds up to 140 miles per hour and life-threatening storm surges of 15 feet in some locations. As Helene traveled inland, the storm brought high winds, extreme rainfall, and catastrophic flash flooding. So it's been pretty fucking nasty. It's pretty fucking rough. I'm really hoping, though, that things are going to die down. But like I said, definitely lots of people sadly gone, and that's obviously very unfortunate, and a lot of property damage. So, it's damn. And it's not just like, I don't know. It's always crazy to me when I think about this, like the Carolinas as like southern. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just went so hard and up into, like into inland. So, pretty nasty shit. So, at least wanted to touch on that. Another story that, this is kind of one of those where I'm like, it's a real story. It's happened. I feel like I've mentioned it offhand before. So I figured, hey, we'll do an update on it. But from NPR, Trump campaign hack traced to 3 Iranians seeking to disrupt election, DOJ said. The Justice Department on Friday unveiled criminal charges against 3 Iranian hackers employed by Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps for targeting and compromising the electronic accounts of Trump campaign aides and others. The indictment alleges the hacking part of Iran's effort to erode confidence in the U.S. electoral process ahead of the November presidential election. Attorney General Merrick Garland, speaking at a press conference on Friday, said the U.S. government is tracking various plots by Iran to harm American officials, including former president and current Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. And I've heard, and I'm pretty sure we have talked about the Soleimani assassination that happened during the Trump administration. That was like completely green-lighted by Trump. And Iran definitely took that as like a very big personal slight that like America would have the audacity, that Trump would have the audacity to do that. So there's been a big focus and target on him. And essentially they put out, some guys to do some, do some cyber crimes, if you will. And they did some spear phishing. They did some I don't know, the hacker thing, and essentially got a bunch of information on Trump and then tried to offload that information on media outlets, on the Biden-Harris, or I guess you could say now Harris-Biden, or whatever the fuck. They tried to load it on that administration as well and say, hey, this is free shit. Here you go. This is good information on your guy, secrets. But essentially no one used them. They said, this seems very sketchy. It's giving election interference. So they didn't fuck with it. And essentially they turned it all over to the FBI. Everyone's cooperating. So now they have 3 guys. I say this, have is not the word I should be using. They've charged 3 men. And that's cool. That's great. But guess what? These guys are in the wind. They're not here. They're not around. They hacked. They did their fucking thing. But they aren't in America. They aren't in a place where you can extradite them. So I always hate these stories. I always hate when the DOJ or whatever comes out and makes this shit happen, because it's who this is Ghost Man on Third. It's not doing anything, bro. We're gonna fucking yell at a guy and not in a chair. Who gives a shit? I don't give a damn until you arrest a motherfucker. It doesn't matter. It's in person, IRL, not figuratively or theoretically. I don't know. It feels weird to me. But, I guess it's more of a chance to actually, talk about this shit. I'll even read a quote. Why not? These hackers impersonated U.S. government officials, used the fake personas they created to engage in spear phishing, and then exploited their unauthorized access to trick even more people and steal even more confidential information. FBI Director Christopher Wray said on Friday, according to his prepared remarks. So it's Iran's is doing it, Russia's doing it, even I guess China's in on it too. Dude, this is, I guess I officially have to say this because I realize I haven't said this, but I'm officially putting election interference and spycraft in the same ballpark now, dude. Everyone is at it, brother. Sure, maybe you don't see any direct lines in it, but it is very obvious the people who were hey, it's really fucked up when, Venezuela does some fucked up shit and doesn't hold a free and fair election. But if our ally, our cool guy Turkey, if they do some loose shit and every time, Erdogan just keeps winning and winning and winning and winning and winning, it's all good. We're not even gonna slap his wrist. We're not even gonna say anything about it. It's all good because he's a homie. You know what I mean? He's cool. He's with us. So I just don't really care. And I know I'm kind of blowing up to make an example. Maybe you shouldn't say it like that. Whatever. Fuck you. I don't care. I'm saying it. It's my way. But yeah, this is news. So I figured, hey, even if I think it's a nothing burger, it's still, NPR didn't think it was a nothing burger. They wanted to talk about it. So, here we are. But yeah, I'll go ahead and move on. Well, we have one more thing I wanted to cover. And we're going to take it to Japan. Though, to me, this is not good news. It's I would define it as just soft, nebulous, nothing burger-esque news. You're shifting from one minister to another, but it's meet the new boss, same as the old boss type of thing, except he, I don't know. We'll get into it. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll go ahead and close it out. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Bear with me. Might have a coughing fit. Okay. Oh no. Whoops. All right. I think we're back. From the Associated Press. Ex-Defense Minister Ishiba chosen to lead Japan's ruling party and become prime minister. Japan's governing party on Friday picked former defense minister Shigeru Ishiba as its leader, setting him up to become prime minister next week. the party leadership is a ticket to the top job because the Liberal Democratic Party's governing coalition controls parliament. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I think this every time I fucking see the name. Oh, Isaiah's gonna totally like this party. It's liberal. It's democratic. That's everything. That's like all him. Like, wrong. This is one of those fucking things that the goddamn, I don't even want to say the right. I think the right is very notorious for doing this shit, for saying, yeah, we're liberal. We love democracy. But it's like, no, like, we're actually very highly conservative. So, yeah, that's what we're into. We don't like the gays. We don't like the theys. We're not into that shit, okay? You know, we're very tight butthole. So, you know, I just always hate. Let's just be who you are. Just say what you are. You could be the cool conservative party. Like, whatever. Just be that then. But anyway, that's their name. That they're not changing it. So whatever. LDP. Yeah, you know me. But yeah, so essentially Fumio Kishida, he's the prime minister now, but he is soon to be eclipsed by Ishiba. So there's that. And I guess the upside here, at least is what they're telling me, that Ishiba apparently is more of a centrist. So that's nice. But like when I hear the word centrist these days, I think of Emmanuel Macron, and I just want to fucking chuck a tomato at that guy. And when I think about the Liberal Democratic Party, I just want to chuck tomatoes at them. I'm not a big fan. I'm not. And it seems like they're making this concession to try to stop the potential onslaught of losing a future election, which they're eventually gonna have, I think, upcoming. You know, it's very similar to the situation in the UK, where they can kind of pick the terms of when they want to do it, if they want to do it a little bit earlier. But essentially, I think they have to do it by like next year, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see if this is gonna actually work to like stave off the libs in Japan. But I would love to see a more liberal Japan. Japan is like, and let me just say it, I think Japan is like, if there was a destination that I could just go to, it would be Japan. Fuck politics, fuck all that shit. I just love the aesthetics. I think it's an amazing place. Like, even their gas stations look cool, man. Like, fuck. Like, I just want to go. I'm actually a little bit jealous. I got a couple of friends that are going to be going next year, and I'm, like, going to try to live as vicariously through them as possible. Just like I do all the little streamers and shit that I watch. But, yeah, Japan, I love it. It looks amazing. Like, that's where I would want to live if I could snap my fingers and just have, like, the language and all that shit, like Matrix style. That's where you would catch me for sure. Or if if I won the lottery or this shit blew up, yeah, you would definitely be seeing me doing some content in Japan. But yeah, man, I definitely don't love the politics. I will say, I guess silver lining in this guy is like, he at least sees that it's like, hey, writing on the wall, like, we need to allow people who like want same-sex marriages to like have that opportunity. They're still trying to do the economic thing, because Japan is in not a good spot economically. You know, they're in a downturn, dealing with I think maybe is it inflation, deflation. You know, economic woes. You feel me? That is a very international problem that has been definitely a motif of 2023 into 2024. So yeah, they're definitely trying to right the ship, if you will, in that way. But if this guy's in the same party, I kind of highly doubt that he's going to have some crazy different pivot. It sounds like he's just going to bear hug the same kind of shit. So, you know, what change are you really going to expect there? I don't know. Time will tell, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm not rooting for any of these guys. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not going to... I'm just going to say Shinzo Abe does get mentioned in this article. I'm not going to say in what context. No, if you want to read it, you can figure it out. But yeah, I'm also not going to say what context that I'm meaning. I'm going to say that there. I'm going to be a little mysterious there. But I'm not rooting for these motherfuckers, okay? I'm wishing them the worst. I'll say that much. You know, because I just want to see change. Like I said, I hate that when I'm looking at this shit from a bird's eye view, everything just feels so socially conservative. It feels like such a fucking bummer, dude. You know, I would like to see more liberal change, you know, but I mean, hey, in Sri Lanka, you got that a little bit, and I thought that was really cool. I know I butchered the name. Y'all know I hear the name the next day after I try to say it, and I'm not even going to try to attempt it now because my memory banks are wiped. But yeah, I know I fucked that up. So mea culpa. But yeah, I like to see those kind of changes where I can, where I do. But yeah, this is the world we live in. I try to just make the most of it, make my bones where I can if I, whatever. But shit, I know I ran long. Let me look at the time. Oh, okay, right around. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out this long. That's crazy. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Feel free, chuck the little $5 in there and become a newsy today. Shouts you out at the top of the month. That's coming up soon. Let's see. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the socials on any of the platforms. Also, it kind of dawned on me. Let me know if you have a Discord and would like to get on the Discord. No one's on that. I'm never even on that shit because no one's on it. But if if that's the thing that you'd like to use, I would love to interact with you on any platform that you'd like to interact with me on. You know what I mean? Let's see here. But another thing I could use, subscriptions on the YouTube. And that's free. That's a free action. You can just do that. And you get notified on whenever I post an episode, whether you listen to it or not. That's a nice, easy way to do it, right? And it helps me out, you know what I mean? Also, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'm going to insist, leave a cool comment, be nice, be chill. Like I said, there's so many other ways and places that you can come and argue with me that I actually, if you're going to do it, at least it's like a dynamic place, you know what I mean? Because if you do it in a place that's like, oh, like my YouTube comments, or like, I mean, I guess you could do it in the Spotify, but that's also not cool. Like I'm gonna see that and probably delete it, brother. Like that's bad vibage. Unless you're adding something to the conversation that's relevant, I'm probably not gonna, you know what I mean? But you can actually talk to me and like, don't make it weird. It's not a parasocial thing, but I'm available to talk to. I got time. As you can clearly see, I podcast every day. I'm practically blogging every day. Okay? All right. That's crazy. But, like I said, it's an option. You can use it or not. Whatever, But let's see. That's it. I'm out of gas. I'm out of ammunition. Lethal aid, if you will. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.